G'day there. Welcome to the Closing Bell on the 28th of April. Today, I've basically given up on talking about the markets in general because they're going nowhere fast. And I think I've explained myself many times over about where I think things will go after breaching certain levels above and below the market. So I thought with the quarterlies all just coming out at the moment, why not focus in on a company that has surprised the market and is looking a bit beaten up and possibly ready for a reversal. So the one I'm going to look at today for you is Megaport. This was a real market darling there for years, and over a few years, 2017 to 22, rallying from $2 to over 20. And we've had quite a catastrophic sell-off in that company over the last year or two, similar to many other tech stocks. And I guess the question is, if the thing has rallied so massively over this period, there's probably something behind it, isn't there? What they're doing is pretty impressive. The clients are impressive. The revenues will be coming and are starting to flow through. And, the thesis isn't necessarily dead. It's just a shift in market conditions and then a panic of people needing to get out of stock. Lots of people have bought that stock over 2020, 2021, 2022. And when you've bought a stock at $18 and then a year later it's down at $8, more than likely you're going to be selling in a panic as it sells off, regardless of what the fundamental situation is. So this is really the cornerstone of how I look at things, really is waiting to see how prices behave in these key zones when I'm looking at waves that form and in the huge retracement. I really want to find stocks that retrace into that buy zone, so a 75 to 87% retracement. And I just want to observe and see whether somewhere in this zone is going to be a spot where prices will turn back up from. Now, this one was on the radar. It did create a buy pivot, but with the downtrend so strong, it's like, well, I'm not going to just buy a buy pivot for nothing. I'm going to wait. And so we've seen months of selling after that buy pivot was formed. So that was a bit of an early one. But I do like to see a situation where you've had the initial move higher, a bit of upside momentum in the area you'd like to see it, then a full clear out of those positions, and then you can see a false break of that low, which was created mid last year, and still in that buy zone area. Now, this is looking interesting as a spot where things could turn back up from and head towards that point of control there around $12 would be how I'd be looking at this in the longer term. So if we just switch to the daily so you can see what's happened. So this is the daily chart of Megaport, and this stock is up nearly 50%. I know it doesn't seem like it, but from $4 yesterday to $5.80 today. So that is a huge gap up. And the fact that it's a gap up through a major low, so creating that false break, is something that makes me feel the market is short. So there's definitely some traders wrong-footed here. But also the surprise is one of those surprises that can turn things around, where the market has become so negative and really with no news, prices just go down and down and down as people capitulate. But then the company comes out and says, well, no, the EBITDA isn't going to be 9 million next year. It's going to be more like 18 million. And instead of an EBITDA of around 30 in 2024, they're expecting up around 40 to 46 million. So increasing their EBITDA by 100% for next year and 50% the year after that. Well, that's enough to make people reassess things a little bit. So is this that starting gun of momentum shifting after a terrible time? And it feels to me that that could be the case. So I think Megaport is one stock that you'd want to just keep your eye on. Now, often with these big gaps up, you'll get some sort of retracement. But just a very simple look at this stock and how it's moved is that it's definitely in the right spot, the bottom of that buy zone area of the whole rally. We've already seen signs of life from this area. We're now seeing a false break of that recent low. We get a monthly buy pivot here. And look, it's going to be by today's close of trading. So if it closes above 585 today, that's going to look pretty interesting. And I'd be wondering whether we're going to see something like that over the next period. Now, it's still a tough market out there, and there's no easy money. We know that. It is not for the faint-hearted jumping around in this market because, as you can see, when the music stops, it can spend 9 months of just going down. But it's just been a long, drawn-out phase. Some of these stocks have been absolutely creamed. And I bet when this stock was up at $17, if someone told you could buy it for $5 or $6, you'd be pretty keen. So, this is just a good example of some of the things I look for out there. And while the markets generally are looking so terrible, why not focus in on a few stocks that are surprising to the upside at the moment, which is a pretty rare thing. All right, cheers. Well, I will come back with more next week.